the plan was that we were both gonna get both of our families, but first we got my grandparents. Then that's why we went over to Johnny's house, and we attacked his sister and her boyfriend because he wanted to kill his family. I mean, I was pretty pissed at her for, the couple times that, like, she would call the cops on me for, no reason sometimes.
Cassandra Borg was 16 years old when she murdered the two people who loved her most in this world. Her grandparents, Randall and Wendy Borg, had taken her in when no one else would. They gave her stability. They gave her a home. And she repaid them by planning their deaths with her boyfriend, Johnny Ryder. What makes this case impossible to forget isn't just the crime itself, it's what came after. The interrogation footage we're about to watch reveals something deeply unsettling about who Cassandra really is. She talks about martial arts and fast food, while detectives slowly close in on the truth. This is a story about betrayal in its purest form. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because this one stays with you.
Yeah, I was getting really sick of the hospital food.
I bet.
There was one point where I couldn't even eat.
You into sports? Obviously, I guess was told the karate stuff.
Kung Fu, yeah.
What's up with that stuff?
Mm.
Is it Kung Fu? Is that what it's called?
Well, I did this martial arts called Tang Soo Do for 6 years, and that's South Korean. And then I grew out of that, and then I found Shaolin Gong Fu, which is basically Kung Fu, but that's what they call it in Chinese. And so I started doing that, and I've been doing that for 4 or 5 years.
I actually heard you pretty good at it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go to tournaments.
I was confident.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to tournaments all the time. I went to China for a month last year.
I've been to Korea, which that's what you first learn, I guess, Korean martial arts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You ever been there or no? Froze my ass off. One of the coldest places I've ever been.
Oh my gosh.
Serious.
South Korea? Yeah. I wouldn't imagine going to North.
So she's been doing Shaolin Kung Fu for years, went to China, competed in tournaments. And right now, she's sitting in an interrogation room because she helped kill her grandparents. And her biggest concern is that hospital food wasn't up to standard. This is someone who bounced between family members her whole childhood, until Randall and Wendy finally gave her a stable home. They weren't just guardians. They were her last chance at a normal life. And she's chatting about Korea being cold like this is a casual catch-up with an old friend. The detectives know exactly what they're doing here. They're letting her talk, letting her get comfortable. Because comfortable suspects make mistakes.
But yeah, so, I love martial arts. I've been doing it all my life, so.
It's pretty cool.
I also played lacrosse.
Did you
Oh, yeah?
really?
It's not a popular sport down here. Up where we're from, it's a lot more popular. It has been for a while.
Where at? Where'd you play at?
Duluth.
The high school or?
When I was there,
Did you play with the boys or was it all female team or?
all females. They wouldn't allow us to play with the guys. The guys were pretty.
It's a lot of different rules.
We didn't wear as much protection as the guys, so I kind of got kicked out with some of the games because, some of those girls would step on my feet with their cleats.
Ooh.
Purposely?
And it would hurt. So what I would do, my first reaction was this, I hit them in the head with my stick.
I would do
Somebody
the same.
step on my foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would just literally stomp on my feet, and then I would just be like.
But you're allowed to hit with this stick. It's
No.
you're not allowed to at all.
Not with the girls.
Not in women's.
We don't have any we only have goggles. And then,
Women's lacrosse is basically field hockey above ground. It's
pretty fun.
Okay, thank God you're eating some. 'Cause I thought
You've ate a lot. She's ate a lot of these fries, hasn't she?
I looked down and
Do
I
you
was
want
like,
some
I
of my
did not.
fries?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Type of music you listen to?
I like not everything. I'm pretty open-minded.
You
Except
don't like country, do you?
I don't like country. I really don't like country.
We can be.
And now we're getting into lacrosse stories and music preferences. The detectives are asking her about getting kicked out of games for hitting girls with her stick. She's laughing about it. Meanwhile, these same detectives have crime scene photos on their desks. They've seen what was done to Randall and Wendy. but they're sitting here discussing country music like it's a first date. This is textbook read technique. Build rapport before the pivot. Let her feel like she's in control. Because in about 20 minutes, this conversation is going to shift hard into the facts of what actually happened that night.
I'm the guy kind of in charge of what's been going on, I guess, the past week, okay? I talked to Ryan, Investigator Ryan Thurman, or Investigator Thurman, the guy that you talked to yesterday, I guess.
Oh, was he... How can I describe him? Was he like the tall...
He's a short
The
dude.
shorter one? Okay, so he was the direct attorney?
Yeah, he's an investigator for the
Yeah,
district attorney
okay,
also,
yeah.
too.
I worked with him before. He was helping me with the case that I had with my stepdad.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think of that tall guy?
He was okay. I feel like I've met him before. I think I met him when I went to court once, but he was okay.
Just wondering.
Sort of weird.
Sort of weirdo?
Sort of weird.
Yeah.
And you remember when I came in yesterday, I just asked you a couple questions?
Yeah.
Remember I made fun of myself because your Graham's password was 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4?
Yeah. It was. I always did that with all of my phones. I don't like complicated passwords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I used to do all zeros.
That's a good one.
Well, I don't want, kind of to make you upset or make you relive anything, but I just got some follow-up questions I'd like to ask you. Do you remember when you read your rights and all that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you understand all them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to read them again just to make sure that I guess he read them right. You never know. And then I just like to ask you some questions, no stress, and then go over some stuff. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish. You can decide any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Excuse me. You understand all these rights?
Yeah.
Okay. You willing to talk about, I guess,
Yeah.
whatever.
Whatever you have to ask me, I'm
I
good to
got
talk
you.
about.
Well, I guess let's start from, let me get your full name just to make sure I know who you are, I guess.
Cassandra Lee Borg.
And can I call you Cassie?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the nickname they give you?
Yeah.
Is that Cassie?
E.
And what's your Lee?
Leigh.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, the female spelling.
You need my last name?
Yeah, what is that like?
Norwegian.
Is it?
It's supposed to be pronounced Bjorga, but it's too hard for
Getting
people
Americans to say Bjorg.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
B. George
Oh yeah, I've heard that one a lot.
Or think Bjorn.
or B. George.
But
Or
George.
Bjorn.
I'm an American, that's how
Okay.
we say. Anyways.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of George.
What's your date of birth?
March 18, 2000.
Damn, you did just have a birthday. And where were you staying at?
The address?
Yeah, I guess your Grams at 1911. You remember that address?
1911 Furlong Run, Lawrenceville, Georgia.
There it is. The Miranda warning. Delivered like he's reading a takeout menu. And Cassandra? She's chatting about Norwegian pronunciation and password jokes while waiving her constitutional rights. Here's what you need to understand. This is day 2. She's already talked to investigators yesterday. She's already placed herself inside that house. The detectives know exactly what happened to Randall and Wendy. They've got the bodies. They've got Johnny in another room. They're just waiting for her to say the words herself. And she will.
Your boyfriend, Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
how long you date that dude for?
Like 3 months.
3 months. Where'd you guys meet at?
I met him through the ex-boyfriend who sold my phone.
That's payback.
That's true, I guess.
I met him because they came to pick me up one day because we wanted to chill. And then we went to Tybee Island for like 2 days.
That's awesome.
So
Did you guys stay in a hotel or on the beach or what?
Yeah, we stayed at a hotel. Like, they paid for everything. They asked me if I wanted to come. I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's go have fun on the beach.
And this was Johnny's family, I guess?
No, this was like, it was just me, Johnny, Tyler, and this guy named Corey.
Okay. Was you and Johnny pretty tight? Did you have feelings for him, or just kind of a boyfriend type thing, or?
I had feelings. I still have feelings for him.
I gotcha.
I care about him.
I guess I'm gonna ask a corny question: is it love or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what he told me. After Tybee, we went to Atlanta, and we were on like this, I don't know, it was like this parking lot thing, and we got to see like the whole city.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that when we were sitting up there, that like for a second he looked at me and I looked at him, and he told me that all he could see was just me and then purple around me. And he said like purple is like a sign of
Purple. He saw purple around her. That's the romantic moment she's choosing to share with homicide detectives. Here's what the clip doesn't tell you. Johnny Ryder had his own history of instability before he ever met Cassandra. Troubled youth, bounced around, found someone who matched his energy. She met him through her ex-boyfriend, the one who stole her phone, and within 3 months, they're planning double homicide together. That's not a love story. That's two broken people validating each other's worst impulses. And when she says she still has feelings but doesn't care about him, that's the most honest thing she's said all day.
I guess let's start from scratch about what happened, starting from when you ran away, I guess. Is that the 31st? Do you remember? Or 28th or something like that?
I didn't really run away. My grandma like kicked me out.
Okay.
Cause like this is what happened. Like I was chilling with Johnny and my other friend Sabrina, and I came home because it was time for curfew. Because I didn't want to violate my probation, so I came home, and my grandpa was asleep, and my grandma got really mad at me, and she was like saying like, oh, if you don't like it here, we're just gonna find somewhere else for you to stay. And she just said that out of the blue. Like she just got really mad for some reason. And so I was just like, if you're gonna find another place for me to stay, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna find somewhere else to go. So.
And this was basically when you took off, you came back, your grandparents were home, and I guess that's when you had that argument?
Wait, what?
So you just had an argument with your grandma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did
and
you?
then I left.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I got you. And then when you left, where'd you go to?
I was just staying with Johnny. Like, we were sleeping in his car.
And what kind of car is that?
It was a blue, like, Honda or Toyota. It was like, kind of like the car that you have. Like, the same style-ish.
like 4 doors.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you're kicking it with Johnny. Where are you kicking it with him at?
We were just all over the place, Bailey. We were just trying to find something to do, just keep, just have something to do, because we don't want to just sit around and do nothing. So, we were finding, like, people to chill with and go to the mall or something.
Was it all your friends you were chilling with, or all his friends, or a combination? Or?
It was sort of like combination between both.
Who are your friends? Is it just Sabrina, or you got other?
I mean, I only have like one other friend, Izzy.
Izzy.
I don't like chilling with like a lot of people, just because I don't trust a lot of people.
I'm the same way. I literally only have a couple friends myself, so she's one of them. So you, so I guess when do you decide to go back to your grandparents' house in the middle of the night?
It was like a couple days after, like 2 or 3 days.
You remember Saturday, Sunday? Do you have an exact?
I don't really remember. Like I didn't really even know like what day it was that we went into the house.
And before you did that, did you and Johnny meet up somewhere at a park or something to talk about what was going on?
We went to Peace Ridge Park, and we talked about it. At first, it wasn't my idea at first.
How did you even get, I guess, what was said? How did you even bring up? What was the context?
He first asked me, are you afraid to die? And I said no. And then I asked him, are you afraid to die? And he said no. And he was just talking about how we could like run away together, you know, that kind of like dream. And he asked me, he was like, would you kill your grandparents? And I kind of like hesitated for a minute. And I was like, why? And he was just like, I don't know, I mean, because he knows probably everything that I've been through with all of my family. And he understands that, you know, like, all I really wanted to do was just kind of get away from everything, kind of just move on with myself. Like, I wasn't having a good relationship with my grandparents. Like, it started getting really bad, you know, like, I got a charge from them because, you know, like, I fought them, you know. I might have broken, like, my grandpa's ribs when, you know, for that charge for simple assault and simple battery.
She says her grandma kicked her out. Let's be clear about what actually happened. Randall and Wendy Borg had legal custody of this girl. They were her last stop after years of bouncing between family members who couldn't handle her. And when Wendy expressed frustration one night, Cassandra decided that was justification for murder. Notice how she frames everything. Johnny asked if she was afraid to die. Johnny asked if she would kill them. Johnny brought it up first. She's already building a defense, and she doesn't even know it. The beach conversation where they planned this wasn't some spontaneous dark moment. It was two people who'd known each other 3 months, deciding her grandparents were obstacles to their little runaway fantasy.
Met at the park, did he ever go over the actual plan on how you guys would do it or anything like that? Or like what was that about?
Well, I mean, we were just trying to figure out how to get money, and because he said that he might have had a warrant, and I didn't know if I had a warrant because, you know, my grandma kicked me out, and then she did the same thing that my mom did. Like, my mom would kick me out, then like a couple days later she would call the cops saying that I ran away when I didn't. Like, sometimes like she would physically force me out of the house. Because, like, sometimes, like, I would just be like, Mom, like, why are you doing this? And then, you know, she would, like, literally, like, grab my stuff and push me out the door and then call the cops on me. So I felt like that's what, like, my grandma did, and I didn't know. So I was already figuring that I had a warrant or something, that I already violated probation. And Johnny was saying that he might have already, like, violated probation because he thought his mom called the cops on him or something. I don't know, but how we started talking about it was, like, we started out, like, with, you know, what time should we go over to the house? How are we going to do this? You know, like, what, you know, materials do we need to, you know, do this? So, you know, we started talking about that, and then, you know, so we decided to go around, like, midnight or 1:30, because my grandma normally went to sleep around, like, 11:30, 12. So we decided, like, you know, we would park down the road, and then the park was literally, like, right behind my backyard, like the neighborhood park. So I was able to go through the park and then cut through my backyard because there was a fence. Like, there was the trees, and then there was my fence, and then there was the house. So you could easily, like, go through the trees, and then there was the little gate that you could go through. I didn't even think, like, you could even open it.
Yeah, how'd you guys move that cement? Isn't there like a cement block or cinder block or something?
Yeah, it was pretty easy to move. Like, I was able to push the door out a little bit, and then, like, it was stuck, but I was able to maneuver my body over to get into the other side, and then I just moved the cement block over so then Johnny could get through.
Gotcha.
And then I moved it back.
Do you remember what you guys were wearing when you guys did this, or?
I was wearing, like, mostly red. Like, I had, like, red sweatpants, I had a red hoodie on, I had, like, a black, like, a t-shirt that I used as a mask. I think Johnny wore all black, maybe, like a little bit of color.
Did the hoodie have a design or anything on it, do you remember, or?
I think he had a design on the hoodie.
Yours?
No, well, yeah, on mine, I had something. It wasn't my hoodie, it was Johnny's, because he let me borrow it. It said something on there, so it was like, had like white letters, and then I guess he had like this design on his hoodie too.
And you guys said you had t-shirts wrapped around, did you guys?
They were just like, it was like a
rags or
old,
something?
yeah, like an old t-shirt.
What was that for?
Just to, like, cover up our faces.
Excuse me. Do you remember what kind of shoes you were wearing, or no?
I was wearing combat boots. They were like Tims. You know what Tims are?
Yeah.
Were they
Timberlands.
Yeah, they're
like brown or black or
they're brown, looked like a tannish.
like hiking boots type thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Do you remember what kind of shoes he wore, or? Was he like a skater? Did he skate or something? Skateboard?
He was wearing some skater shoes or something.
Okay.
They might have been like Vans or
What color were they? You remember?
I don't remember.
Y'all were living out of his car. Did he have like a lot of clothes in his car that he would change into?
Yeah.
Okay.
He already had clothes in his car.
Okay. But did he have like different shoes, or did he kind of just keep one pair of shoes on?
He had different shoes. He had a bunch of stuff in his car.
Okay.
It's kind of like Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. She just compared Johnny's car to Mary Poppins. This is a girl describing in clinical detail the exact route she took through her grandparents' backyard to murder them. And she ends it with a whimsical Disney reference. Red sweatpants, combat boots, t-shirts as masks. The cement block she moved so Johnny could squeeze through the gate. She remembers every logistical detail of the night she killed Randall and Wendy Borg, but can't muster a single word of grief. This isn't detachment. This is inventory management.
Okay,
That's a good frame of
You got some good
reference.
analogies. I like
Yeah.
that. So when you guys made it to the back door or the back gate,
Mhm.
what'd you guys do next? How'd you move up to the house?
Well, we went up the stairs.
The decking stairs?
Yeah,
Okay.
the back deck. And my grandma was still up because we got there a little bit early. So we went back down and we were kind of just chilling over where,
The shed is?
yeah, we were just chilling by the shed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw that the lights turned out and then we just like stayed outside for a little bit longer just to, wait. And then I already had the keys to my house because I already had a set of keys. So I was able to unlock the back door. And then that just made everything easier.
And as back door, do you mean the bottom back door? Or so you're still talking about the door on steps?
Yeah, like
Okay.
when you go up on the back deck, there's two doors.
Mm-hmm.
There's a door on the left and a door on the right, and I went to the door on the right because the door on the left had a sensor on it, like one of those
Beep beep or whatever?
yeah,
Okay.
like the door 4 open something
I
like
gotcha.
that.
One of the ones that kind of like announces each door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the one you guys went into didn't have it.
Yeah, I was able to take that one out because it was like a really old alarm system. Like they had this alarm system for years, and all you had to do was just you had to push this little button just to open it, and then just take the battery out. And I already took the battery out a while ago,
What was that for? You taking the battery out?
just
then?
to sneak out.
Okay.
And plus, I hated that thing that went off every time.
She disabled the alarm weeks in advance. Let that sit for a second. This wasn't impulse. This wasn't even a plan that came together the night of. Cassandra had already removed the battery from the door sensor so she could sneak out whenever she wanted. She repurposed that same preparation to sneak killers in. The house her grandparents made safe for her became the house she made vulnerable for them. She knew which door had the sensor. She knew which one didn't. She had keys. She waited in the shadows by the shed until the lights went out. Every single step was mapped before Johnny ever showed up.
Did you guys have anything in your hands, or you just...
Yeah, I had what's it called? It's one of those car tool
Is it to
things.
do a tire, or
Yeah,
is it to
tire
fix
iron.
it?
It was a
Okay.
tire iron. So I had one of those.
Where'd you get that at?
Johnny's car. 'Cause he
Okay.
had one in his car.
His Honda or
Mhm.
whatever.
And Johnny just used his fist. And he brought a black book bag that had duct tape in it. And it had the tire iron in it.
Huh.
And it had gloves in it. Because we were also wearing gloves too.
What kind of gloves?
They were
Like hospital gloves,
Yeah,
or regular...
hospital
Oh, okay.
gloves.
What color were they, you remember?
Blue-ish?
Okay.
Yeah, they were blue.
Okay.
So,
So now you guys are at the stairs, starting to go up the stairs.
yeah.
You actually had the tire iron in your hand, or is it still in the book bag?
I had the tire iron in my hand. We got it out before we went inside the house.
Uh-huh.
So I had it in my hand. And Johnny didn't have any weapon. He just used his fist.
Okay.
So, and then
So who's first up the stairs? Is it you and he's kind of following you, or?
yeah,
Okay.
I go upstairs. He goes into my grandpa's room, and then I go into my grandma's room.
Mhm.
And yeah.
And then do you hear kind of what's going on over there, and
Yeah.
does that kind of cue you off to with your grandmother there?
Yeah, he started going at it, and then I could hear my grandpa just yelling, them fighting, and then I started getting the rush, and then like, that's when I started hitting my grandma in the head.
So you took the tire iron. Is it just?
I started just beating her head with it.
Does she have a pillow over her head? Do you know, or
No.
would she have a pillow around her head or something? Okay.
The way she was laying was she was on her stomach, and her head was facing to the right. If you go into the bedroom, you look at the bed, so her head was facing like the opposite direction, so she couldn't see me coming through the door.
Okay.
So, and then he started, beating my grandpa, and then after a little bit, I like hit her really hard on the back of the head, and then she started like screaming and stuff. And
Was that the first hit?
Yeah.
The back of the head?
Yeah. That's where I mainly hit her in the head. She bit me.
I think I took a picture of that yesterday, right?
Yeah, she bit me in my finger too, but I forgot which finger. It was on my right hand. I think it was either like my middle finger or it was that one.
And when you and your grandmother used to get into it, that's kind of how did she bite you before to
Yeah.
kind of get you off her or whatnot?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
bitten me before.
Well, she's bitten you before too.
Yeah, I haven't bitten her, but she's bitten me before.
Okay.
Have you, like when you guys were in it, or did you just
Yeah.
come up and bite you?
No, like when we were in it.
Okay.
Like I had this mark on my hand from where she bit me for a while.
Where did she bite you that night? On your finger?
Yeah.
Anywhere else?
On my arm,
Okay.
where they took the picture of it, and then that was it.
So you're in the bedroom with your grandmother. When do you meet back up with Johnny? Do you leave your grandmother there, or kind of what happens?
So I started hitting my grandma, and I already had duct tape, and then Johnny's doing his thing, and I stopped hearing Johnny doing whatever, and so he comes in the room with me and my grandma, and he helps me like tie up my grandma with the duct tape, and
How did you do that? Is it just her hands, or?
I got her hands, I got her whole head, and then I got her ankles.
Okay, with her hands. I guess
It was behind her back.
So it's like just like this.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about anything on her head or neck, or did you?
Yeah, we kind of like wrapped the duct tape around her.
A tire iron, blue hospital gloves, duct tape, a black backpack. She's rattling off a murder kit like she's reading a packing list for summer camp. And notice how she describes her grandmother's position in bed. Her head was facing the opposite direction, so she couldn't see me coming through the door. That's not recollection. That's tactical assessment. She knew exactly where to strike because she knew exactly how her grandmother slept. The woman who took her in when nobody else would. The woman who gave her a bed to sleep in. Cassandra studied that bed like a predator studies a watering hole.
What were you doing when you went back in your grandpa's room?
I was still with my grandma, and then
In her room?
yeah, and then I dragged her into my grandpa's room, and Johnny asked me to go get some knives. So I got some knives from downstairs in the kitchen, and I got 3 like big butcher knives, and then that's when he started like stabbing my grandpa. Cause then I went back upstairs because I dragged my grandma into my grandpa's room, so they were both in there, and then I asked her for the code to her safe, because I already knew that she had a safe in her closet. I just didn't know it was in the safe. So,
Did she tell you?
yeah, like she kept saying like, I'll give you money, I'll give you my keys, I'll give you anything you want. But, yeah, she just kept
Was
saying,
she able to talk with the duct tape around her face?
yeah, like she was like mumbling. You could still understand her, but like at the same time you couldn't.
Like it wasn't like her mouth was shut. Like
Yeah.
almost as if,
It was like that.
okay, almost as if like she could still move her mouth enough
Yeah.
to make the words behind the tape. Okay.
Mhm.
And then when Johnny's stabbing your grandfather, is it mainly in the torso or? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he just, I don't know why he did that, but he just kept going.
How many times? More than 2? More
yeah,
5?
More than 5.
Okay.
It was more than 5.
And then what happened when he was done with that? What were you doing? What were you guys doing next?
So we left my grandma sitting there on the floor, and then I got the code to the safe. So Johnny's watching my grandpa and my grandma, and I'm over.
How'd you get that code? Did she tell you guys,
yeah,
or?
She told us.
Okay.
So she told us the code, and I went in the closet because that's where they kept the safe. So I go in there, I'm checking out all the stuff, and I grab the book bag, and I just start stuffing the book bag with everything, Like, there was envelopes just filled with money. There was probably about, like, $1,000 that we found in that safe that they were just saving. And
did you know about that money, or you just said no?
Well, my grandma, it was kind of weird. Like, she was kind of giving me, like, an idea about it before. Like, she was saying, what if I just gave you $1,000? Would that just make the world a better place? I'm just like, no, I don't want $1,000, So, she kept saying that, and then, like, when I saw it, I was just like, wow, she actually had $1,000 in her safe. Like, that's crazy.
So you guys put that stuff in a bag, and then basically Johnny's in your grandpa's room with your grandpa and your grandma in the room. Do you come back in there and say, hey, I got the stuff, or what? Okay.
Yeah, I go back into the room, and I tell him that I got the stuff, and so after that, he slits my grandpa's throat, and then we drag my grandma into the bathroom, and
what was the reason for that? Just to bring her to the bathroom?
Yeah, I don't know why we brought her back into the bathroom. I guess we didn't want to bring her into the bedroom.
Okay.
So we just brought her into the bathroom. And then Johnny slit her throat too. And I actually hit her in the back of the head with the tire iron. Well, not the back of the head, but like right where your spine is. Because he was telling me, he was like, if you hit right there, like just one like good hit, you can just knock the person out and then they'll be dead. And she was like pretending to be dead for a while. Like I would, check up on her, and I would see that she was still breathing, and I'll be like, Johnny, she's still alive. What?
She checked multiple times. She would check up on her to see if her grandmother was still breathing. Let that settle for a second. This isn't Johnny acting alone while Cassandra watches from the sideline. She's monitoring vitals. She's quality controlling the murder. And when Wendy is still alive, she reports back to Johnny like she's filing a status update. She's still alive. The woman who mumbled through duct tape offering money and keys and anything they wanted. The woman who once asked Cassandra if $1,000 would make the world a better place. Cassandra remembered that conversation. She remembered it while emptying that safe.
You guys left, where'd you guys go to?
We went over to like Kroger or Publix to go get something to eat, and then we went back to the house, and we just kind of like chilled there.
Which one?
It was like on Old Peachtree.
Were you in Johnny's car when you guys left, or?
No, we took my grandpa's car.
Did you leave Johnny's car at the apartment, or the park, rather?
Yeah, well, after I got my grandpa's car, I drove over to Johnny's car, and we dropped Johnny's car off over by these little like stores. I forgot. It's over by the Kroger that we would normally go to.
Would you go to the Kroger at Riverside?
I think.
It was like a
There's like
Kroger,
a Sonic.
Hibachi.
There's a Sonic right in front of it, the brand new QT on this corner, and they took out the old QT.
Yeah.
So like you come out of your neighborhood, you make a left, you go down to Duluth, and you make a left, and then the Kroger's on the right.
Yeah.
So is that car still there probably, or no?
Yeah, I bet the car's still there. It's parked in like, it's like over where like Quinceañera place is, There's like, there was like.
The Hampton Inn, more towards the Hampton Inn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Near like the uniform store?
Okay. Somewhere, it was over in that area.
Kind of behind the old QT?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you guys went back to the house, and then did you do anything to the doors, or?
Johnny did. He glued the doors.
Okay.
He went in my garage and found the, what's it called? I don't know.
Caulk.
Yeah. So yeah, he did that.
Okay. And was the point of that is what? Just
He just did that. He just decided to do that. He didn't tell me. I just watched him and I was just like, okay, like you got it.
Did you guys kind of just stay in the house then, or?
Yeah, it was kind of both. We were kind of like in and out of the house for a couple days. It was just me and him. We didn't tell anyone. I mean, I told my friends that my grandparents went on a vacation for like 2 weeks.
Did you call some of your friends ever and say, hey, if you guys want to come over? Because I spoke to some people, and that's just the rumor going out. They said, hey, if you guys want to come over, not for a party or anything, but, you know, I got some money, grandparents are out of town. Yeah.
I mean, I would just tell people, like, I would just be like, hey, you know, like, I have, like, the free crib, but I wouldn't have people come over. You know, I'd just be like, if y'all are trying to chill, I'll come meet up with you.
Okay.
I wouldn't let them go to the house.
Right.
That makes sense.
Now, can I ask a question? Obviously, when you guys were done with everything, you had some blood on you, I bet.
Yeah, I had some blood on my face.
Okay. Did you change clothes?
Yeah.
Were you in the house when you changed your clothes?
Yes.
Okay. Did you had extra clothes because you lived there?
Yeah.
What about Johnny? Did Johnny have to change clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you guys do with those clothes?
We put them in a trash bag, and I think we left the trash bag in my grandpa's car.
Okay.
With the knives that he used. So it was all in like one trash bag.
And that backpack you were talking about that he used, did it have a design on it?
It was just all black, said Jansport. Just
Okay.
one of those small little 1 or 2 pocket book bags.
Okay. And when you dropped his Honda off, what was the point of leaving it at the Kroger?
He said that he didn't want to drive around with that car anymore because technically that wasn't his car. I mean, it was under his mom's name.
Okay.
So he wanted to use like my grandparents' car instead.
Because if somebody came looking for you guys, they could come looking for
His car.
that his mom had.
Mhm.
Okay.
And when you guys were, I guess, together for the 2, 3, however many days at the house, when you guys left, did you go to make any purchases to buy some new clothes using credit cards or anything? Because we got receipts in that. So do you remember whose credit card you used?
It was my grandma's credit card. Or it was a debit card.
A debit card? Do you remember what bank it was or anything, or no?
It was a Visa debit card.
If she told you, would it ring a bell?
You remember what color it was?
It was gray.
Gray, like a...
It had like, it said like CITI.
Oh, city.
City, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bank.
Glued the doors. Johnny glued the doors shut with the bodies still inside. And Cassandra's response? Okay, like you got it. That's not horror. That's not even surprise. That's a girl watching her boyfriend seal a crime scene like he's hanging drywall. Then they go grocery shopping. They use Grandma's debit card. They park Johnny's car by the Hampton Inn because it's registered to his mom and might draw attention. The logic is flawless. The humanity is completely absent. This isn't escape from a difficult family situation. This is 2 people treating a double homicide like an inconvenient move-out day.
Obviously, we're using your grandmother's phone for all the communication on calling your friends and all that.
Yeah.
Did you have, like, how, I can't memorize numbers worth of shit. Did you just memorize them, or you went through your phone?
I didn't have a phone at the time. Well, I mean, I did, but I didn't have any data on it or anything, so I wasn't calling anybody. I was just mainly using like social media.
Oh, I gotcha.
So, and
Is that your Snapchat we're using?
yeah,
Okay.
I was mainly just using Snapchat to, contact like just a couple of my friends to chill with them and stuff.
Did you guys ever chill with anyone during that week at all, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
we chilled with some of his friends, some of my friends, and kind of a mixture of both of our friends. 'Cause, we sort of had like the same friends-ish, like, so yeah, we were just chilling with them. We would just go meet up with them. We would never have anyone come over to the house. We were just like, that's a no. That's a big no-no. So
And you said, I think I asked you before, you did go to karate or whatnot on Wednesday.
Mhm.
Was he with you, or you left by yourself?
Yeah, it was me and Johnny.
You guys both went inside, or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah, we both went inside. He was interested in seeing what the place looked like. And I forgot if Shifu, my master, was here or if he went to China because Johnny really wanted to meet Shifu. So I was like, okay, let's go.
They went to karate. The week her grandparents' bodies are decomposing behind glued shut doors, she takes Johnny to meet her Shifu. She's giving him a tour of the dojo, hoping he gets to shake hands with her master. This is the same girl who helped hold a pillow over her grandmother's face. And now she's disappointed Shifu might be in China because Johnny really wanted to meet him. The social calendar didn't skip a beat. Friends, errands, martial arts introductions. Just no visits to the house because that's a big no-no. Yeah, wonder why.
How come you guys did stay?
Well,
in
because
town?
this is the plan. First, we were gonna get my grandparents. Ooh.
You hot?
Huh?
And
You hot?
Yeah, I want to give her the
Oh, okay.
smushy things.
Okay.
what?
Your
Yes,
exercise
yes.
stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the reason why we stayed in town was because the plan was we were gonna get both of our families. That's why.
Hold on, what?
Okay, so the plan was that we were both gonna get both of our families, but first we got my grandparents. Then that's why we went over to Johnny's house, and we attacked his sister and her boyfriend because he wanted to kill his family.
Okay.
Was there like ever a snapping point, or, I mean, do you feel bad about what happened? Do you think she deserves what happened, or what? How are you feeling right now? I'm not in your shoes.
With my grandparents.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel terrible. I mean, I feel like the worst person on the planet, but at the same time, it was kind of just like, I don't know. I mean, I feel heartbroken, but I don't know. It's really weird. Like, I'm really sad about it, and that's like one of the reasons why like I wanted to, kill myself, like, and just overdose. Because, like, there was so much stuff going on between me and my grandparents already. Like, I couldn't handle it anymore, like,
Like you said with his follow-up question, though, I mean, did they deserve it? Did Grandma deserve it? Did Grandpa deserve it? Or was it kind of just more getting away from your own family?
it was more kind of just getting away.
Okay. So you don't think that Grandma did anything?
I mean, I was pretty pissed at her for, the couple times that, like, she would call the cops on me for, no reason sometimes, or, like, just, like, a lot of the stuff that she would say would be really offensive because it would be about my mom.
Who did you have because your grandparents are essentially your parents at this point.
Yeah.
And they've been taking care of you for how many years, and you live with them. It's a day-to-day thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you have a more contentious relationship with? Who was the one you were butting heads with all the time?
My grandma.
Your grandma more so than your grandpa?
Yeah, I couldn't talk to my grandpa. Like, I did not have a real good relationship with him. Like, before we did, but then, I don't know, like, I wasn't able to talk to him as much, and he kind of, like, pushed me out.
Pushed you out of his life a little bit. Do you think that maybe, was it Johnny's plan to you get your grandma and he get your grandpa, or did you want to kind of get your grandma yourself because of your relationship, like your strained relationship?
It was sort of Johnny's idea more. I mean, I don't know. I don't think like they deserved it, but I just wanted to get away from all of that, like, I was so tired of dealing with my family. It felt like I didn't even have a family. Like, it felt like they weren't there. Like, even though they tried to help, it's just like the way that they were kind of doing it was like, I don't know, it didn't really work out. So, I don't know. I started feeling
Was
like,
your mom ever part of the plan?
killing them.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to.
Was it something you and Johnny discussed, or is it something you
No.
just thought of?
Well, I mean, we did discuss it, but then Johnny was like, no, we can't waste our time on them. And I was like, okay. But I wanted to.
So the plan wasn't just the grandparents. The plan was both families. Johnny wanted his sister dead too. They attacked her and her boyfriend that same night. And when the detective asks if Cassandra feels bad, she gives this bizarre contradiction. I feel like the worst person on the planet. But at the same time what? She wanted to kill her mom too. Johnny talked her out of it. Not because it was wrong, because they couldn't waste their time. That's the only reason her mother is alive right now. Logistics.
You're telling us 100% it was just you and Johnny?
Yeah, it was just me and Johnny.
Nobody else was involved?
No one else was involved.
Okay, so all the bloody clothes and everything else, that's going to be you and Johnny and you and Johnny only?
Yeah.
It was only you and Johnny that planned to kill Grandma and Grandpa?
Yeah.
It was only you and Johnny that planned to kill his family?
Yes.
It was only you and Johnny that decided not to kill your mom and dad?
Yes.
Okay. So, when you guys changed,
Mhm.
did you change in the house?
I changed at his friend's house. Well, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, let's go back to Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
Did you change at your house?
Yeah.
Okay. The boots in your bedroom, are those the boots that you wore?
Yes.
You only have one pair of boots like that?
Those Timberlands.
Those Tims?
Well, they're like knockoff Tims.
Right.
But yeah, those were the only shoes I was wearing.
And you were wearing them the whole time?
When we went over I grabbed a pair of Converse too,
Okay.
but I wasn't wearing those Converse.
I meant the whole time the attack on
Yes.
Grandma and Grandpa happened?
Yes.
Okay. And when we were riding over here, you noticed a lot of shit that even he and I missed, like even in his car. What is it called?
Starship thing, Phantom.
Yeah. So you noticed what his lights were called. You saw the little bumper sticker that I could barely see from the back seat. Like, and you were talking about detectives and investigations and stuff like that. So obviously that's what we do, and we do this quite a bit.
Mhm.
And the thing is, we can basically piece together kind of what happens based on the evidence and stuff like that. But what we never can fully explain is why it happened or what happened. Like the reasons it happened.
Like why we did what we did.
Yeah.
I mean, the main reason why I did what I did was because I kind of just wanted to get away from my family.
I kind of just wanted to get away from my family. That's how she explains killing Randall and Wendy Borg, two people who gave her structure when her own parents couldn't, who took legal custody when she had nowhere else to go. And here's what makes it worse. She notices everything. The detective even calls it out. She clocked the car's phantom lights. She saw a bumper sticker from the back seat that the detective couldn't read. She's sharp. She's observant. She just doesn't feel anything. That's not teenage rebellion. That's something colder.
As for the incident that happened at Johnny's place, you're charged with 2 counts of assault, and so is Johnny because of what happened there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously with your grandparents now, you're being charged with, what should I give you? Yeah, these two I'll serve. I gave you two more. Anyways, you're being charged of malice murder for your grandmother and then malice murder for your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's just the 2 warrants on there. Like I told you, I'm a straight shooter and I'm just letting you know about that, okay?
2 counts of malice murder. That's the language. Not manslaughter, not second degree, malice murder. Meaning the state is saying she intended to kill and did so with a depraved indifference to human life. And look at her face when she hears it. Nothing. No flinch, no tears, no moment where reality crashes through. Just, okay? The same tone she used to describe her lacrosse games and her favorite music. The detective even flags it himself. I'm a straight shooter, because he knows what he's doing. He's not building rapport anymore. He's delivering the weight of what comes next. And she receives it the way you'd receive a change in your coffee order. This is the moment that should break through. This is when the room is supposed to shift. When someone hears they're being charged with murdering both of their grandparents, something is supposed to happen internally. Some flicker of understanding that the life they knew is over. The two people who loved them are dead because of choices they made. Cassandra just processes, files it away, moves on. And I think that's what makes this case so difficult to sit with. It's not the violence itself. We've seen worse. It's the void where the guilt should be. The complete absence of anything resembling a human response to human consequence. She killed Randall and Wendy Borg, the two people who gave her a home when no one else would, who took legal custody when her own parents couldn't hold it together. And when she hears the formal charges read aloud in that room, her emotional register doesn't shift by a single degree. The broader conversation here, and it's one that keeps coming up with cases like this, is about juvenile offenders and life sentences. There's a legitimate debate happening right now in legislatures across the country about whether minors should be eligible for parole, whether life without the possibility of release constitutes cruel and unusual punishment for someone whose brain isn't fully developed. I understand that argument, I do. But cases like Cassandra's make it nearly impossible to engage with in good faith. Because this wasn't impulsive. This wasn't a moment of passion or a terrible decision made in fear. This was weeks of planning. Disabling alarms, mapping entry points, studying sleep positions. And then afterward, karate class, grocery shopping, casual conversation about when to kill her mother next. Randall and Wendy Borg deserved better than this. They deserved a granddaughter who understood what they sacrificed to give her stability, what they gave up to make sure she had a chance. Instead, they got someone who saw their love as an obstacle and their trust as a vulnerability to exploit. Cassandra is serving life without parole. So is Johnny. And as of today, that sentence stands unchanged. But the people who should still be here aren't. The grandparents who opened their door and their home are gone. And the person responsible sat in that interrogation room and heard the charges read, like she was being told her food order was ready. If this case stayed with you the way it stayed with me, I've got another one you need to see. A 23-year-old mother who shot and killed her daughter's grandmother at a Starbucks and genuinely believed she was going home that night. The delusion in that interrogation room is something else entirely. I'll leave it linked. Subscribe if you want to keep following these cases with me.